Scammers have been around since the beginning of time, but unfortunately recently they have really begun to infiltrate our car community. They come in many different forms and use many different tactics. So today we're going to discuss some of that, what to look for, what to do, how to avoid them, and how to help keep our community free of these losers. If you're on social media at all, particularly Facebook or Instagram, you've probably seen some scammers out there before. And again, today we're focusing specifically on the car community. I'm going to be using examples from Facebook groups that I'm in. Before we go through those examples and what to do when you see them, how to avoid scammers, let's talk about some red flags. If you see a for sale post, or if you make a post looking for a part or something for your car, here's some red flags to know when to avoid a particular person or page. Number one, the member is new or relatively new to the group. I'll show you all how you can check that here in a minute when we go through the examples. Number two, they don't speak English very well or they have very bad grammar. This is not always the case, but I have seen it more often than not. Another red flag would be listing rare or highly desirable parts for sale, commenting on your post and telling them to PM you for more info, or PMing you to tell you that they have the part and they want you to reach out to them, or they'll reach out to you. Turning off commenting on their post to avoid people calling them out for the scam. This is probably the most common one that I see, although recently scammers have been getting smarter and not doing this. The biggest and most obvious one is inconsistency with photos. Again, we'll look at some examples of this, but look at the backgrounds in the photos. They also will likely say yes to everything you ask them. So I have spent some time messing with some scammers. We're not going to go over that in today's video, but you can ask them any question if you have whatever part. Like I've asked for a headlight for a 2016 Saab 9.3, which we all know those were never made, they never existed, and they'll say yes. And I asked for a picture of it, and the guy sent me like a Chevy Silverado headlight. And I'm like, oh, are you sure that'll fit? That looks different. And he's like, yeah, it'll fit, man. But the last red flag I have before I get too off topic is the name of the page. So we'll see in these examples here, there's both people, we'll call them people because a lot of times they're actually other people who these scammers have stolen their identity and their photos to make a Facebook page to scam people. Or they're like fake pages for fake businesses that supposedly sell parts. So it's always something generic. It's usually, for example, Saab parts for sale or Tom's Auto Parts or something like that. And again, if you click on these pages, you'll see the same kind of inconsistencies with the photos and some other traits that we'll talk about here. This first one is a screenshot from an Audi group I'm in where they're selling, again, very desirable parts. You can see here an Audi RS3 brake upgrade, a full RS3 interior, some cool aftermarket, actually I think those might be factory Audi wheels. You can see that post is actually from July 9th. And so this is part of the problem, that these posts in some of these groups, especially these bigger groups where admins can't babysit scammers, you need to make sure that if you see these, you report them to group admins and Facebook, because otherwise they just stay up here. Another thing I like to do is laugh react to them, because that kind of naturally deters people from looking at it, or at least to me makes me feel like I got a little bit of a win over the scammer. But the biggest thing is reporting it and bringing it to the admin's attention. The way that you can tell this guy's a scammer is clicking on his profile. So you can click on his name and you can see how long he's been in the group. At the time of filming this video, he's been in the group for a little bit over a month. And looking at his posts, they're all just the same for sale posts. He hasn't commented any helpful, useful information. He hasn't posted about his own personal car or asked for advice on a repair or an upgrade. He's just strictly selling things. This next example is a bit different, and I feel really bad for the individual who asked this question. He's simply asking any induction kits for sale, or what's the best one to buy for his Audi. Let's take a look at these comments. The first one just says, try Milton Unique Automobile Store. Again, very generic name. For some reason they don't tag the group. Maybe that's to avoid getting flagged, but very generic name, clearly fake. Jordan Audi Spares can help your search, check them out. Also same thing, clearly very fake. Have a great deal with Caitlin's Audi Spares, they'll sort you out. Also clearly fake. Reach out to Audi Automobile Parts Store. Again, that one is actually tagged, but I bet if we went to their profile, it would be just filled with random pictures of random Audi parts that are all stolen. Silver Auto Parts slash repair. It's a very generic name. I'm not sure, who that's supposed to be. This one says, had mine from Frex. You can message him, Frex Genuine Car Parts. Again, another generic name. This one just says, contact Mr. Millie. Who knows who Mr. Millie is? I don't think this guy posting does either, so that one I found funny, just gave it a little laugh react. The second to last one's funny, it just says, trust me, old chap, Freddy's Audi Shop business page is the go-to spot for quality parts and fair prices. He's really trying to sell that scam, but I don't think it's going to work for him. This one also says, I can help with that, PM me if you're still searching. PM me if you're still searching, or PM me if you're still looking, is probably one of the biggest taglines that these scammers like to use when commenting on posts. They always tell people to PM me if they're still looking or searching for a parts, and then they'll just feed you a bunch of lies once you DM them. So just avoid it altogether. But for example, let's click on one of these people's pages if you don't believe me. So we're gonna pick on Robertson here, who I guarantee you had his identity stolen temporarily, and I feel bad for this guy, but you can see he's been in the group since May 21, 2024. So at the time of making this video, again, only been in the group a couple of months. And you can see his activity on the page is, well, not really anything. He's just commented once telling people to reach out to a certain page. He hasn't posted about his car. He hasn't posted asking for help on something or looking for any advice, just commenting for sale stuff. So if we go to his actual profile though, this is even more of a dead giveaway if you don't believe that. You can see first off, he only has 6 friends, which no one has only 6 friends on Facebook. Then if you go to his actual post, you can see his only posts are updating his profile picture and his cover photo, which was just to set those when he created the account. Each of those also only had 1 like, which I'm sure was from his own account, just to make it look like people are interacting with these. So this next one is a gentleman looking for an MBRP exhaust for his car. You can see comments are the same exact thing on this one. This one links a Facebook page directly though, so if I go to click on that, you'll see it takes me to Silver Auto Parts slash repair. With us, the customer is king. You can have your parts within a day, and you can see all of these photos are very generic and stolen. Backgrounds are all different. They just say car fenders. What cars are they for? They're just car fenders, I guess. Scan tools, grills, all different backgrounds, all different cars. No specific information. Headlights, one of those is a tail light, bro. Car seats from all different backgrounds, all different cars. No information on what cars they fit. And the list just goes on and on. You can see these posts have almost no likes, no comments, no interaction, and it's very obvious that that is a scam. That one's probably one of the worst ones I've seen, but you can see by clicking on some of these other profiles, these people are all fairly new members, or if they have been in the group for more than a couple months, they don't have any posts. They're only commenting on posts telling people to PM certain pages. So they have a lot of other accounts that are doing legwork to all direct people back to the main scam account in order to avoid getting the main scam account, like these part pages, into any sort of trouble. This next one, just another very generic example. You can see here the guy does not turn the comments off, but he's posting a bunch of different brake rotors for sale that apparently fit a bunch of the same car, which I find hard to believe. I'm sure those do not all fit that exact car, but if you click on his profile, he's only been in the group for a little bit over the month. And you can see in his posts, you know how on Facebook certain people have the power to use the @everyone feature, and it essentially tags everyone that's in that group to the comment or the post or whatever. So sometimes these scammers like to try to use the @everyone feature to get everyone to come look at their post, essentially get a notification about it. And this guy, you can see, tried that here, but unfortunately he messed up and said #everyone, and he forgot an E in everyone. So again, that's a perfect example of the poor bad grammar and spelling. The last example I have from Facebook here is from a Saab group. This one, textbook scam. The guy has turned the comments off. It's only been posted for 5 minutes, so I want to show you all how to report a post like this when you see it. The guy, as you can see, also joined August 9th, which was actually the exact day that I took the screenshot. So this guy is a brand new member. So before we report the post, we need to give this guy a laugh react, just as sort of a middle finger for being such a loser. Click the 3 little dots in the top corner, hit report post to group admins. You'll see a bunch of different options come up, and you'll just click spam. Again, Some groups are better than others in terms of how quickly they address this or if they address them at all. Thankfully, all the sob groups are very good at deleting these people as soon as they can. You can see that all these photos have the same background. They're all of course, highly desirable items, as I mentioned earlier, but they all have the same background and they don't look like they're from a warehouse or stolen from someone. But I can guarantee you that these pictures of the turbo, the intercooler, the exhaust, map tuner, everything were probably stolen from another legitimate individual who got all these modifications for his car, took pictures of them and made a post saying like, hey, look at all this cool work I'm gonna do to my car. And that scammer then saved all those photos to his camera roll to use in a future post. So that kind of wraps up a few examples on Facebook. Quickly on Instagram, same kind of stuff. You'll see this guy, for example. I actually have a highlight on my story when people send me parts scammers, so you can see if someone's legit or not. This guy is actually using someone else's identity, but same stuff, tons of different backgrounds. The title of his page just says Saab Auto Parts, Saab Spare Parts, old and new, hashtag perfect condition, hashtag shipping worldwide. Very obviously a scam. And then this last one, Saab Spare Parts. It can't get more clear than that. So definitely a scam. Again, all different backgrounds. They're selling parts from just about every Saab imaginable. So what happens if you come across a for sale ad that doesn't meet any of this criteria, but you still are a little bit cautious because you don't want to send some random stranger $300 for a part for your car or for something else? Well, the first thing I would always recommend is if you don't know this person personally or know someone who knows them, you should ask for photos of the part with the person's name on it. Essentially have them get a piece of paper, write their name and the date on it, put it next to the part, let's say it's a steering wheel for example, and take a photo. That way you can see the date and the name of the person who's sending you the photo, so that way you know it's not just some random picture off the internet. Of course, I've seen people try to Photoshop these. These scammers are not very good at Photoshop, so I'm not saying you can 100% trust that, but that's a pretty good foolproof way at helping kind of ease your concern if you're looking at buying online. Secondly would be only use PayPal goods and services or some sort of payment method in which you know that your money is secure and you can get it back and file a dispute if it does happen to be a scam. A lot of these sellers want you to use Venmo or PayPal friends and family to avoid paying a fee, and that fee is there for a reason. It's to protect you, the buyer, from people like this. So if the seller is not okay with paying that nominal fee, then that should be another red flag for you to just probably back out of the deal. If you come across any of these online, just report them. If the comments are on, comment that it's a scam to alert other people. Some people will even take screenshots of the post and repost them. That can help too, although it can kind of clog up feed of Facebook groups. But there's a lot of things that you can do as a member, even if you're not an admin or moderator, to help try to cleanse the Facebook groups you're in of this. If you see any on Instagram, feel free to send me a DM directly with a screenshot of their profile, and I'm happy to add it to my highlight that I have to warn other people. Now, of course, this goes without saying, please do not harass any of the individuals that you saw in this video. All of them have more likely than not had their identities stolen. A lot of them will prey on young families, for example, a mom and a dad and a young kid, to help kind of look like some hardworking American or some hardworking person who's just trying to support their family. And I can assure you that the actual people in those photos are not the ones trying to scam you. So please do not go looking for their profiles and harass them. However, if you do come across a scam post and you'd like to waste the scammer's time, I invite you to do it. It is quite fun. But if you have any other advice that I might have missed, please leave it down below in the comments. Send this to someone who might not know about scams or how clever sometimes these scammers can be. I'm sure they're going to continue to adapt and evolve and come up with new strategies. So if you have anyone in your family or friends that might not be aware of some of the tactics they use, please send them this video to help give them a PSA. And of course, be careful out there when you're doing your social media shopping. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Check out my merchandise linked at the top of the description if you'd like to help support the channel some more. And I'll see you all in the next one.